देश में व्यापक चर्चा हुई है। सभी राजनीतिक दलों ने अपने विचार रखे हैं। एक कमेटी ने बहुत बढ़िया अपना रिपोर्ट तैयार किया है। वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन के लिए देश को आगे आना होगा। मैं लाल किले से तिरंगे की साक्षी में देश के राजनीतिक दलों से आग्रह करता हूं, देश के संविधान को समझने वाले लोगों से आग्रह करता हूं कि भारत की प्रगति के लिए, भारत के संसाधनों का सर्वाधिक उपयोग जन सामान्य के लिए हो, इसके लिए वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन के सपने को साकार करने के लिए हमें आगे आना चाहिए।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that 2016 American presidential elections cost $6.5 billion, but the 2024 Lok Sabha elections cost nearly 1.35 lakh crores? This is the highest that any country spends on its elections. And to this, add the cost of every state and every civic election. This in addition to the burden on manpower and resources that have to be moved and provided for these elections. In 2024 Lok Sabha elections, 3.4 lakh central security personnel were deployed. And finally, do you know that till 1967, India always held simultaneous elections for states as well as for the Lok Sabha. This is significant since today, as a giant leap forward has been taken as a unanimous decision by the Modi Sarkar towards their promise of a one nation, one poll. The Union Cabinet has cleared Kovind panel's report on conducting simultaneous polls in India. This report comprises of 18,626 pages and is an outcome of the extensive consultations with stakeholders, experts and research work of 191 days. They say that it will ensure consistency and continuity in governance and reduce burden on finances and manpower. But unfortunately, the political narrative has been reduced to charges of dictatorship from the opposition, who see this as a gimmick, a stunt by the BJP to deviate and distract attention from the real issues. Watch this war of words.
लॉ कमीशन ने अपनी 170th रिपोर्ट में रिकमेंड किया था कि वन इलेक्शन टू लोकसभा एंड ऑल लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज इन 5 years होना चाहिए, जिससे कि देश में डेवलपमेंट चलता रहे। जो बहुत सारा खर्चा होता है इलेक्शंस के कारण वो न हो, बहुत सारा लॉ एंड ऑर्डर और क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम जो बाधित हो जाता है, बिकॉज पुलिसमैन आर टोटली डिप्लॉयड इन मेंटेनिंग द इलेक्शन लॉ एंड ऑर्डर।
ये प्रैक्टिकल नहीं है और ये चलने वाला नहीं है। ये सिर्फ चुनाव जब बात है, कोई ना कोई कुछ मुद्दा नहीं मिल रहा उनको, ऐसी चीजें बात करने के लिए, इश्यू को डाइवर्ट करने के लिए वो बात करते हैं, और इसीलिए और पूरे देश के लोग कोई मानने वाले भी नहीं हैं।
1967 के पहले तो खड़गे बताएं ना, राहुल बताएं कि एक देश एक इलेक्शन होता था कि नहीं होता था, उसमें कौन सा नुकसान था? क्यों नहीं नेहरू उस समय इसको रोक दिया था? तो जब एक नेशन एक इलेक्शन, वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन, ये पॉलिसी दी बेस्ट पॉलिसी है।
तो बेसिकली नरेंद्र मोदी सिर्फ, क्योंकि बीजेपी की आइडियोलॉजी आरएसएस की हमेशा ही रही है कि वो रीजनल पार्टीज को नहीं चाहते, इसीलिए वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का एक मार रहे हैं तुगा। हम तो इसकी मुखालिफत किए हैं और मुखालिफत करेंगे, अपोज करेंगे।
Let me now get you more voices and apprehensions of the other opposition parties. But first, let's explain which state will be impacted and how are the states and union territories which are expected to complete over half their terms and maybe slated for simultaneous polls with Lok Sabha elections in April 2029. Maharashtra, Haryana, Jharkhand, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Sikkim, West Bengal, Kerala, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, Bihar, Delhi. These are the states that could see simultaneous polls in 2029. Now, let's get you the states which are due to go to the polls in December 2028. Can an amendment be made for a one-time extension of their terms to coincide with 2029? Then these states will include Telangana, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Mizoram and Rajasthan. Let's also tell you about the assemblies which will not complete their midterms by 2029 April and may have to go to polls earlier or maybe in a separate phase of polling. Tripura, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Goa, Manipur, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka. So ladies and gentlemen, the question tonight that everyone is asking, and that really is the legitimate question: Rajniti, reform, what will take priority and center stage? That's the debate, and that is the question coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining me tonight on the One Nation, One Election debate is Shehzad Poonawala, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Karan Verma, author, Mohammad Tariq Khan, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Vivek Srivastava, political analyst, Dr. Akashdeep Muni, political analyst. But my first question goes to Sanjay Jha, author and Congress leader. And Sanjay Jha, do you think it's a masterstroke? All this while, last 101 days, the Congress party, the opposition, has been saying, हमने तो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का सारा confidence छीन लिया, वो अब झुक के चलते हैं. It's not the same government. They are dependent on their alliance partners. Well, one bold decision after the other, and one nation, one election, actually the boldest of them all.
Navika, good evening. You know, it is so ironical and a paradox that the Narendra Modi government cannot even hold elections in Maharashtra along with Haryana and Jammu Kashmir because of logistical problems. Here is a government that basically took weeks, if not months actually, to hold elections in several states simultaneously in the past. Even if you look at the general election of 2024, it took over 2 months. So basically you realize this is another spin, and I'll tell you why they are headed for a disaster. Number one, and I'm saying so without being, claiming to be a political forecaster, but the TDP and the JDU, the two, basically the crutches on which this extremely weak, fragile government survives literally on a day-to-day basis, I'm very interested to know what they have to say, because they are likely to, pull the plug from this government if these parties have any faith in cooperative federalism, on which they have campaigned for a long time, both against the UPA and against the NDA in the past.
Is that your hope? Is that your prayer? Or is that your information on which you are saying that they are likely to pull the plug?
Well, let me tell you, Navika, the truth is these political parties are forever. A government comes and goes, and they realize that Narendra Modi's government is headed for a potential wipeout in the assembly elections, which will trigger, I think, the collapse of the central government as well. So I do feel that you are in a politically turbulent situation. Anybody who follows politics and who's done research on One Nation, One poll, will realize that the BJP is doing all this just to divert attention from the huge problems they are in at the moment. The truth is Rahul Gandhi is the future, Narendra Modi is the past. And I think the sooner the BJP reconciles to that reality, and instead of indulging in fake news, etc., they should reconcile to the truth. Mr. Modi's political brand is disappearing and vanishing by the day. Rahul Gandhi and the India alliance are on the rise. You're going to see an extremely exciting, and I'm very enthused about it, a new political formation happening in this country in the coming months, which I think is good.
All right. New political coalition being formed. Modi is the past, Rahul Gandhi the future. Shehzad Poonawala, another stunt, says Sanjay Jha.
You asked Sanjay whether this JDU-TDP stand is based in reality or is it rooted in suspended mythology, and Mr. Sanjay Jha did not answer simply because both JDU and TDP have expressed unconditional support for one nation, one election, both JDU and TDP. In fact, please let me tell Sanjay Jha, and I hope he will hear the full thing now, we should be discussing about the pros and cons of this. The country had one nation, one election right from 1952 to 1967. Was it for diversion then? Till 1967 we had it. After that we did not have it because one lady called Indira Gandhi, for the lust of her power, imposed Article 356, dismissed governments at her will, and therefore the schedule changed. Then in 1983 the Law Commission, the Election Commission proposed that we should have this again to save a lot of expenditure and logistical issues. Then the Law Commission 170th report of 1999, the 255th Law Commission report in 2015, all of these advocated for the same thing. Now today, when a Dalit former president, Ram Nath Kovind ji, has said that this is feasible and good for the country, you have a Congress party that is abusing his intelligence. 32 political parties have supported this. But look at the Dalit Virodhi Mansikta of Congress, that just because it has been proposed by Ram Nath Kovind ji, our very respected President of India, former President of India, the Congress party is opposing not on facts, not on basis of facts. The fact is that if we have one nation, one election, we will have lesser expenditure. Now the election expenditure will be saved by at least 10 to 12,000 crores. We will have reduced deployment of security forces, reduced chances of horse trading, reduced fake promises and fake guarantees which we've seen in Himachal and Karnataka, reduced political corruption, and we will have improved efficiency because the time will not be spent on making promises every 2 months, but on delivery of those promises for 5 years. We have had many simultaneous elections in states as well. But why is Congress party opposing? And I'll end here. Congress party proposed UCC in 1950s, today it opposes it. It proposed GST earlier, now it opposes it. Congress party was the one that brought Waqf Amendment Act and wanted such a committee report to propose Waqf Amendment, today it opposes it. And today again Congress, which started one nation, one election, is opposing it because ek virod Modi ka karte karte, ye desh virod aur Dalit virod karte hain. Today Ram Nath Kovind ji has been insulted and humiliated by Sanjay Jha, saying that he does not understand what is good for the country, but Congress party, which changes its stands every time, is doing good for the country.
Well, Sanjay Jha, quick counter.
Yeah, Navika, thank you. The very fact that he invokes Dalit politics into this tells you about how intellectually defunct the Bharatiya Janata Party has become. It insults the collective intelligence of all your viewers who can see through this absolutely nonsensical rhetoric from my dear friend. Here is my short point, and I keep coming back to that this government cannot even hold elections in states, even 3 states at the same time, citing a whole laundry list of flimsy pretexts. Secondly,
for you to say that, Sanjay Jha, when we've just gone through a national elections, where the entire country has voted, for you to say they can't or they haven't because of strategic reasons is another matter. But they can't hold elections, I think, is a redundant argument 3 months after the national elections.
One line. If Sanjay Jha's best counter, Sanjay Jha, because she has allowed me to counter you now, Sanjay Jha, if he says, I understand, sir, but we all have to debate, others have not got a chance to speak. Sanjay Jha said it is intellectually defunct because I invoked the Dalit angle. Here is a party that finds the Dalit caste or the caste of Miss India contestants. Here is a party that says to journalists, ki aapki jati kya, kaun jaat ba? And now today when I have said that why are you insulting somebody just because he comes from a particular background, you are saying that this is wrong. Then you call Rahul Gandhi wrong. But more importantly, one nation, one election doesn't mean one phase election. It can happen in multiple phases, but it happens in one period of time so that the remaining period of time can be spent to policy implementation, not model code of conduct.
Well, let me get in Tariq Khan. Mohammad Tariq Khan, one nation, one election. इससे तो देश का पैसा बचेगा, देश का समय बचेगा. You'll have one elections, and we've debated the fact that this overall, in terms of money spent, in terms of the time spent in a model code of conduct, this is good for the people. I just want to ask you, does this show the resolution that this government is A, comfortable with its alliance partners, and B, it's going on with the agenda, and just on the completion of 100 days, they said they are committed to one nation, one election, and they announce it a day later. Do you think this shows the kind of leadership and the kind of agenda they are following?
Listen, when these things started first time, that Modi ji said that we are planning for things to happen. One nation, one election. Akhilesh ji at that time said that why not make it happen today? We will be more than happy, because you have to make UP Assembly dissolve, then only election could happen. How you will do all these things? It's very important. We are ready for it. And how many elections you will involve in it, whether Pradhani, Jila Panchayat, we have 7 to 8 elections in our country. So how you will manage it? Everything should be in public domain. We know nothing about that. Tell me that how you will manage all these things, how you will divide them, that yes, this is the ballot for this one, on this one you will vote, or this would be only for MP and MLA election, or this will be for all the election, or you will not hold election, Panchayati Raj election, you will dissolve them all, no Panchayati Raj election. Gram Pradhan will be appointed by Prime Minister Modi ji, that okay, you will be Gram Pradhan from tomorrow. So it's all right. What is your, in Hindi we said Masauda, your complete structured thing, show it to the people of the nation as well as to the parties, then we'll be able to comment it in a better position. If Shehzad Poonawala have everything, tell me, I'll comment on that what is your proposal, how...
बहुत quickly answer करूंगा. बहुत क्विकली आंसर करूंगा. एक तो तारिक खान जी की मैं प्रशंसा करना चाहता हूं कि कम से कम इन्होंने अनुराग और बाकी इनके प्रवक्ताओं की तरह झूठ नहीं बोला. समाजवादी पार्टी ने वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन को सपोर्ट पहले किया है. दूसरी बात, हाँ मैं तो कह रहा हूं, वही कह रहा हूं मैं तारिक जी, मैं कभी आपको इंसल्ट भी नहीं करता ना झूठ बोलता हूं, मैं आपका तारीफ ही कर रहा हूं. दूसरी बात तारिक जी, कोविंद साहब की कमिटी बनी थी, उसमें सभी पार्टीज को बुलाया गया. आप बताइए कि आपने क्या सुझाव दिया वहां पे. दूसरी बात, उनकी रिपोर्ट पब्लिक डोमेन में है, और उनकी रिपोर्ट न केवल पब्लिक डोमेन में है, अब अगर ये कैबिनेट के द्वारा क्लियर्ड है तो ये पूरा का पूरा मामला पार्लियामेंट आएगा, जहां पर और चर्चा होगी. तो इसीलिए मेरा आपसे केवल एक ही निवेदन है, कोविंद जी की रिपोर्ट कमिटी को कितनी बार आप पेश होकर वहां पर सुझाव देने गए, बोलिए.
देखिए, रिपोर्ट अभी आई है, और मैं
अभी नहीं,
अरे कभी भी आई है, मैंने पढ़ी नहीं रिपोर्ट.
आपने नहीं पढ़ी तो मुझे क्यों गाली?
लेकिन नहीं पढ़ी नहीं है, बट वी आर अगेंस्ट, फॉर इंडिया अलायंस वाज अगेंस्ट इवन विदाउट रीडिंग, एंड लेट मी,
बहुत बड़ा डिस्क्लोजर किया है.
एब्सोल्युटली
विदाउट रीडिंग है.
Without reading, they are opposed to this entire policy. And Karan Verma, that's what brings me to the moot point. मोदी ने कुछ बोला है, अपोज करना है. That is the ideology, that is the manifesto. Whereas here, Modi had promised one nation, one poll in the last term with 303 seats. He's committed, and today the cabinet has cleared one nation, one poll in its sitting, the first sitting of the cabinet after completion of 100 days, and cleared that this is the proposal and it will come. The details, of course, will be worked out, put forth in Parliament. But the fact is, without reading, political parties of the India alliance have decided that they have to oppose anything Modi says.
So, Navika ji, they are the same people who last time around said, how can Prime Minister Modi vaccinate 100 crore people in 1 year? But guess what? He did it. He delivered. They are the same people, whether it was Raghuram Rajan or P. Chidambaram, who mockingly said, how can you open 50 crore bank accounts? Well, he did deliver. They are the same people who made fun. Oh, a sabzi wala is going to do digital transactions on the floor of the house. And Chidambaram landed with a foot in his mouth. So for Sanjay Jhaji and Tariq Khan, well, Prime Minister Modi has always beaten the odds and delivered on pulling off exercises mammoth than this, and he's done it with a lot of ease and success. So that is number one. Secondly, you know, Shehzad rightly pointed out, it was 1983 Election Commission, nowhere close to BJP being in power, which suggested this. It was the 1999 Law Commission which suggested that. And also the CII, the Confederation of Industries, in 2017, Navika ji tabled a report which said that industries shy away from investment 6 months before the polls. We have close to 150 days of polls if we include panchayats and everything into it. So imagine the amount of losses we see in terms of investment, where private investments start drying up 6 months before. So the fact is, Modi virod karte karte, they have resorted to virod of Desh. This is a measure which Modi 3.0, by the way, they were casting aspersions on whether Mr. Modi has become weak. This is one of the boldest reforms we've seen, and we've seen it on the auspicious 101st day of the Modi 3.0 government.
Well,
This reform.
Let
can
me
not
also
only bring down the
show you this document tabled in Parliament. And Karan Verma, this is telling. Tariq Khan कह रहे हैं कि समाजवादी पार्टी सपोर्ट करती है. This on 6th of February 2024, the Samajwadi Party has given a representation saying they are against one nation, one poll. So I don't know, statements are different from the position taken in Parliament. However, if they're so worried about the JDU, Sanjay Jha, you might want to notice here that Janata Dal United was in favor of one nation, one election even before this particular election in the last Parliament. On 17th February 2024, it has given its stand as in favor. Chirag Paswan's party, Lok Jan Shakti Party, has also said they will be in favor. Biju Janata Dal in favor. Also, parties like the TDP have said that they will be. In fact, Telugu Desam Party had not responded at that point in time. But many of the alliance parties are actually in favor of all of this. Even Rashtriya Lok Dal. The question is, तारिक खान, आपको कहीं डाउट है? कहते कुछ है, करते कुछ है?
नहीं. What I said that at the time जब इस बात की शुरुआत हुई थी तो अखिलेश जी ने कहा था कि अभी अगर कराएंगे तो यूपी असेंबली को डिसॉल्व आपको करना पड़ेगा. So we are ready for that. और मैं फिर पूछ रहा हूं कि ये सिर्फ स्टेट्स के असेंबली इलेक्शन और पार्लियामेंट्री इलेक्शन के लिए या सभी इलेक्शन के लिए? इसको जरा क्लियरिफाई शहजाद पूनावाला करने, फिर आगे बढ़ते हैं. सभी इलेक्शंस के लिए है?
सबसे पहले तारिक जी एक चीज मैं उसका जवाब दे रहा हूं. तारिक जी सबका जवाब दे रहा हूं. पहले तो तारिक जी, जो देश के लिए या प्रदेश के लिए अच्छा होता है वो केवल मेरे राजनीतिक बेनिफिट में हो तब अच्छा होता है, ऐसा नहीं होता. जब आप चाह रहे थे कि यूपी असेंबली भंग हो जाए तब तो अच्छा था, गुड था. और आज क्योंकि वो यूपी असेंबली भंग होने की आपको शक्यता नहीं है और 27 में चुनाव जीतने की आपकी कोई शक्यता नहीं है, तो आप बोले कि अब वो बैड हो गया. देखिए तारिक जी, मैंने आपके बीच में नहीं बोला. तारिक जी, मैंने आपके बीच, नाविका एक करके ऑडियंस. Anyways, I don't want to communicate cross-talk, say. So you have said something, hear me out. Tariq ji, now again I'm repeating for your sake, just because something is not in your perceived political benefit, it does not become bad for the nation. In 2016-17 it is good, now it has become bad. You have one stand first. As far as the mechanics of this is concerned, Tariq ji, you have yourself said, I have not even read the One Nation, One Election report. I think it is most injustice that all of you are opposing it without reading it. If you don't even know how the system is going to be run, how they are proposing, how the things will be done, how are you coming and opposing it? Which means that when Indira Gandhi's time and Nehru's time it was there, it was good. Now BJP is proposing the same thing that was there in the start of the country's constitutional journey, then you're saying it is bad? How is this possible?
In 2 minutes, no, let me ask something. In 2 minutes, you are not able to say me that whether it will include panchayati election or not.
You're right, Tariq Khan. The devil is in the detail. Detail पे तो तब जाएंगे जब आप सुनने को तैयार हो. पर Akashdeep Muni, I once again come back to the moot point raised by Sanjay Jha. He says the partners of the BJP will leave it on this basis alone. I want to tell you, unanimous acceptance by the cabinet took place in the cabinet meeting today. And unanimous means the TDP was present, the JDU was present, and everybody accepted that one nation, one poll is an idea that they are committed to. And if they are committed to, and if it comes within the first 6 months of this government, does it not show that the Modi Sarkar is committed to ideology, committed to implementing their manifesto, and committed to taking forward the bold decisions that have been the hallmark of the first two phases of the Modi Sarkar?
See, Navika ji, TDP or JDU, if it supports or not supports, it's upon their conscience. But my point today is that this particular law, that is one nation, one election, the basic structure of that law is false. Why I'm saying this? Because remember, if this law comes into force, there will be constructive vote of no confidence, which will end anti-defection law. Why I'm saying this? For example, If a government is in coalition government and it becomes minority and falls, then also that government will stay for 5 years, and then there will be legitimate horse trading. Anti-defection law will not work. So the basic structure of this particular law is fallible. Second point, this is against the basic structure of the Constitution also. Why I'm saying this is, you remember the 13 bench order in the Keshavan and Bharti case, where it clearly said that the basic structure of the Constitution cannot be altered. We are a parliamentary form of governance. It cannot be presidential form. If this particular law passes, it will be presidential form where for 5 years the government cannot fall. Now, third point, the third most important point, if a government falls, if it is in minority, will there be election or not election? And if there is no election, the people's mandate will be not justified on the floor of the parliament. So people's mandate will be subsided to keep that government for 5 years, which is a minority government. That is why, be it in the good faith of the people or not, this particular law is against the Constitution, against the people. And if
how can it be against Constitution when it was the situation that was followed between 1951 and 1967? But let me also clarify what Tariq Khan said. In the first phase, the cabinet has decided Lok Sabha and Assembly elections will be synchronized. In the second phase, local body elections within 100 days of the Assembly and Lok Sabha elections will take place. Common electoral roll for all elections will be there, and there will be discussions that will be mooted throughout the country.
One line in this. You see, Tariq Khan thinks that he is very smart at outsmarting me. The fact is that Election Commission does Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. The state government does the local body elections. Unless he wants us to run roughshod over the state government and powers and state assembly powers, he should not be saying this. But since he wanted an answer, ungli dali mere muh mein, to ye sun lo, ye jawab hai. दूसरी बात मैं पूछना था, अब इसका विरोध मत करना, अब 3 टायर का विरोध मत करना ये कहते हुए कि ये स्टेट असेंबली का मामला है, ये स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का मामला है, ये स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन का मामला है. दूसरी बात जो अभी मुनि जी कह रहे थे, मुनि जी, ऑल दीज सिचुएशंस हैव बीन डिस्कस्ड इन द कोविंद रिपोर्ट. आप एक बार रिपोर्ट पढ़ो, आप रिपोर्ट पढ़ते नहीं हो. सारे सिनारियोज को ऑलरेडी डिस्कस करके इसका प्रपोजल दिया गया है और 67 तक यही था.
कंस्ट्रक्टिव वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस हैज बीन एक्नॉलेज्ड देयर.
ओके, one minute, Akashdeep Muni. Vivek Srivastav, it's very clear that this is something that will now happen only in 2029 because Lok Sabha elections have just taken place. And the next elections will come only in 2029. Of course, if this Lok Sabha completes its full term, this government completes its full term. So let me say, by 2029, which are the states where assemblies would have done more than half their tenure? Maharashtra, Haryana, Jharkhand, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Sikkim, West Bengal, Kerala, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, Bihar and Delhi. And maybe one next phase will be required once, which can be done because which are the states that will require an extension in 2028 whose polls are coming in: Telangana, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Mizoram and Rajasthan. And then, there will be some states left which will not have completed even their half term, and they will include Nagaland, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Goa, Manipur, Gujarat, Himachal and Karnataka. So these can take place in a second batch. The fact of the matter is, of course, the detailed blueprint still has to be tabled. There will be several sections of the Constitution which will need an amendment. I'm asking you only 2 questions. Number 1, alliance partners on board because this is a unanimous decision of the cabinet. Number 2, it's something that the Modi Sarkar had put in its manifesto, it's implementing, has done its consultation. Does this show that this Modi 3.0 Sarkar is committed to going on what they had promised?
Look, I mean, every government, I mean, they have cleared it in the cabinet, well, good. But then now the draft that I had read very clearly, yes, Shehzad Poonawala is correct. Till 1967, this was followed. The assembly elections and the Lok Sabha elections were happening almost together. and it is later on when we started having fractured mandates and the governments kept falling that things took a change for a different scenario. Now the problem is there are 12 constitutional amendments which will have to be done for this bill to be passed and tabled. And as far as the unanimous stand of the allies is concerned, 62 parties were approached by the government of India for their views on the draft, out of which only 47 gave their opinion. In these 47, only 30 have given the support. So your RJD, JMM, TDP, SAD,
so 32
BRS,
on 47 is a majority, sir. 37 on 62 is also a majority, sir.
No, 62 may say 30. No. No, 30 out of 62 is not a majority, number one. Number two, when the constitutional amendments are passed, then we will have to see. Now the problems. Please let me come to the problems. The problems are, number one, you are the draft is unconstitutional because you are altering the fixed term of a particular assembly, which means rightly pointed out by Mr. Muni that if a particular state government comes into minority after 2.5 years of the election, then what is the status?
The status is elections will take place for the remaining part of the term, and then fresh elections after that remaining part is over.
Means that is exactly what is the problem. So you are again spending money twice. I mean, that means you are again spending money twice on that particular state assembly election.
One would expect that this would be more an exception than a rule, isn't it, Shehzad?
My only contention to Vivek Srivastava is that Vivek ji, can you please, Vivek ji, I'm talking, Vivek ji, I'm responding to you.
Regional parties.
Vivek ji, I'm responding to you.
I just have one more point.
Please go ahead, then you don't interrupt me.
Shehzad, one more point and you respond.
Sure.
Our stand is that this particular draft is against the regional and the smaller parties.
Okay.
When you start fighting a national election with the regional election, the regional issues are just wiped out.
Now, Vivek ji, let me speak.
It gives a stand to, now
I have heard you out.
All right.
Now, Vivek ji, let me speak in the interest of a debate. ADMK, All Jharkhand Students Union, Apna Dal, Assam Gana Parishad, Biju Janata Dal, Lok Janshakti Party, MNF, NDPP, Shiv Sena, Janata Dal United, Sikkim Krantikari Morcha, Shiromani Akali Dal, UPPL, all of these are national parties. They have supported it, boss. JDU has supported it. All the regional parties have supported. Point number one. Point number two. I am not saying that you may not have some legitimate concerns, but how can you call a draft constitutional and unconstitutional? आपको जो भी विरोध करना था कोविंद जी के सामने जाके करते और feedback देते. Third, when a draft report has come, now it will be discussed, hammered out even more. Please, 10 more seconds. It will be hammered out more in Parliament. You give your views, and then let the democracy, let the democratic institution of Parliament decide. आप अभी से क्यों विरोध कर रहे हैं? Conceptually, sir, one last point. Sir, one last point.
We will oppose it.
Sir, one last point. You oppose that, sir.
You
Yes.
are committed to opposing it even before reading the report. That is very clear.
My point is only this, Vivek ji. You used to. Now, please, 10 seconds. Sir, please, 10 seconds, bear with me. You have promised me 10 seconds. You used to be in support of UCC. Today, you oppose it. You used to be in support of a lot of things like amendment in Waqf Act and no religious intervention into laws. Now you are for it. How do I understand that whether you are for a concept or a principle or not? Is this principally okay with you? It was done from 52 to 67. That time it was okay. And now it is not okay.
Sanjay Jha, please respond.
Because
Navika.
Because kya? Because
different at that time.
Because what? No, one second. Because what?
Yeah.
Because what?
Because the scenario was different at that time.
Can I just give one example? एक
Because
second.
Modi was not in
इसी पे बोलने दीजिए. Vivek ji.
Was different.
Vivek ji, one line. Just one line. What was the first use of Article 356? One second. First use of Article 356 was to dismiss Nambudri Path's government by Nehru. Nambudri Path was the first elected communist government. उसको dismiss करने के बाद बोले माहौल बदल गया, हालात बदल गए, जज्बात बदल गए. ऐसा नहीं होता सर. आप बदल गए. You have changed.
अरे बाबा उससे कहीं आगे जा चुके हैं. उसके बाद यूपीए 1 में समर्थन भी दिया है.
नेहरू जी की वंदना करने लग जाओ.
बिल्कुल. यूपीए में समर्थन, सो आइडियोलॉजी तो कोई चीज ही नहीं है आपके लिए. आपने समर्थन दिया भी है, समर्थन लिया भी है. ये देना लेना चलता रहता है. दिल्ली में समर्थन, केरला में नो समर्थन. That is happening and that just shows ideology really being followed by the left parties. But Sanjay Jha, The question is, because Modi brings it, it is not acceptable. It was acceptable when the Congress governments were in power till 1967. Is that the moot point?
Navika, because I thought in this program we really can't get into the nitty-gritties of the bill, but here is my suggestion. Here is my suggestion here. One of the reasons why all political parties with any degree of commitment to Indian democracy should question it is because it favors the national parties, including the Congress that I support, because they have the resources. You saw the electoral bond scam. All the money is with the BJP. If you run an election for states and the center at the same time, the principal national parties will be able to swamp the entire election campaign because they have the resources that they can influence people on a more gigantic scale. But we are not getting into nitty-gritties here. My big point is what my friend Shehzad Poonawala mentioned, horse trading. Here is a party that has legitimized Operation Lotus as a political strategy, which is a horse trading game. And Emirates Stock Exchange is what Amit Shah...
Karan Verma, on this, let me come to you. Karan Verma, horse trading legitimized by the BJP, Article 356 misuse legitimized by the Congress party. Aise to you can find fault with everything that anybody has done, and therefore there should be no reforms going forward. Is that a valid argument?
Absolutely not, because Navika ji, I just want to jog Sanjay Jha's memory. Back in 2011-12, they had all the resources. In fact, 80%, they talk about electoral bonds, more than 80% of their funds were in cash, less than 20,000. So you had all the resources, you couldn't maneuver around. People voted fair and square, you were voted out. Just because you were voted out and you couldn't win the mandate of the people, don't blame it on somebody having the resources. And don't you have the resources through electoral bonds? You also have a lot of resources. And you know, replying to Vivek ji, ek aur baat bata dun aapko. 1959, when the first communist government was dismissed, as Shehzad pointed out, it was the Communist Party stance that elections should not be held in 1960 or it should be held in 1962. They wanted one nation, one poll. They backtracked on one nation, one poll in 1968 when the Congress Party for the first time had a minority government. So you've switched ideologies as per convenience. Sanjay Jha has switched priorities as per convenience. The truth is, in 2002, Navika ji, there was a national commission to review constitution, the same constitution that they keep talking about, and it was this national commission which recommended that we need one nation, one poll to curtail expenses and for the smooth functioning of the democracy.
Navika, just very quick counter to what Sanjay is saying. Sanjay bhai, first of all, horse trading ke baare mein Telangana knocks. Just... 1 second, sir, I did not interrupt. Vivek ji, I am speaking to Sanjay Jha, please. 20 seconds. Sanjay Jha, Telangana says hi. You should watch Times now. How 7 MLAs were taken there. That is positive and secular horse trading. Bihar says hi. JDU hamare saath sarkar bani thi, aapne le liya tha. Shiv Sena says hi. You had taken the Shiv Sena after they formed government 2008, 2019. But having said that, you know what Sanjay Jha has done? He has done the biggest cardinal sin. Today he has abused Nehru unwittingly. Arey bhai, Sanjay Jha, jab ye system pehle place mein aaya, that time Nehru was not only having all the resources, Congress party, but it was the only party. Opposition mein to kuch hi nahi tha. And if that time it was okay, today it is not okay when we are a mature political party. Sanjay Jha, at least don't abuse Nehru. I can understand Vivek does it.
And let me tell you this, out of the 4 former election commissioners who were consulted, none of them opposed it. Out of 8 state election commissioners, former state election commissioners, only 1 has opposed it. And out of 4 former chief justices of India, none have opposed it. And out of 12 former chief justices of high courts, only 3 have opposed one nation, one election. The stakeholders have clearly voted for one nation, one election, and clearly, while the details are still to be tabled and debated, the fact of the matter is, in principle, it seems like a reform and way forward for political parties to move. But of course, when it comes to politics, Nokchok is currently in full swing as the opposition takes on the BJP. We leave it at that for now. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me on this big debate.